and later on uh, once the data has been loaded into AF table, from AF table to HF application. This is like what we said, open interface, right? So we have seen the data load process from file to HFM application that we have seen. Now today we are going to see the data load process from AIF, mean like open interface, to HFM application. Once we see this, and later on I will show you the documentation like from ERP to HFM, how it is going to be work. Because of ERP is not been installed on our machine, it is difficult to maintain. I will show you the steps how you are going to manage and how you are going to do the prerequisites and how we need to perform on ERP side when you are going to load the data into HFM application. Okay. First we can see we are here to load the data into file to AF table. Okay. First going back to application, and let me connect it to SQL server, and let me connect to ODI. Can you keep mute? Who's going to not speaking? Select start from AF. Open interface. Let me check is there any data over there. So I have some data, just truncating this table. Okay, I don't have any data now for AF table. Okay, so it's the nothing is there. It's a blank AF interface is the just what we are calling them in general scenario. We can call them as this is like a open interface adapter. So the concept is open interface adapter, that we are loading the data. Instead of file, we are going to use this one. Yesterday we have seen like ODI connected, and we have given the setup to we have established the connection between your file to AF open interface. Just check that table over here, mean like data load to AF table. So what was the issue yesterday is that is like data type about the file. So when you are loading the data into one of the table, there should it should not have the commas. I mean like I will show you that file format what it is. So ODI. So yesterday the file is having like commas over there. So we have given like comma separated file, and we try to load the data for amount look like this one. So the amount field will not be taking the column like this. So that's what we have removed the comma, and we try to load the data. So in this mapping, you can see the data we are loading to AF table with the information of batch name is BHFM data load, and year is 2016, and period is June, and period num is 6, and the file amount that we have mapped from the file itself. So here you can see. So we have given the account, and we have given the amount, and if you want to give any entities information also, we can provide the entity information also over here. Okay, so this is fine. So once you provided all the information, if you are having any filter conditions or any joins that you want to give, you can give it. Because of here we are not going to use any joins, because of we are taking from source as a single file. So if you are having multiple tables or multiple source files that you are having, you definitely have the joins to join them to fetch the data from the tables. Okay, once you are having there, you need to provide the IKM and LKM information. IKM and LK information that you need to provide it here. So here LKM, mean like LKM is nothing but load knowledge modules. IKM is nothing but integration knowledge mod. Here from file to here I am going to take the staging area because of its source is my file. So that's what I am taking as a mean like staging area where I can have the staging schema information and all. So here I am having the staging schema from file to SQL data load LKM that I have used, and integration knowledge module that I am using as a IKM SQL control append that I am going to use that interface IKM SQL control append. We will be using the, let me show you that one. So here you can see IKM SQL control append. I mean that is like integrating in the sense how you are inserting the values into AF table. So there itself you need to give your total properties related to the SQL properties, insert, commit, and truncate, delete all, or flow control. Flow control in the sense when you want to load the data, you need to have it as a flow control. We need to put it as false. So you need to give all the information over here, whatever the requirements that you are having, you need to provide it here. Then you need to run this scenario, I mean total this process interface where from here to AF table. Just run this interface and check the operator. So once you check the operator, today's it's been success. So you need to check the steps over here also. If you want to understand how the process is going on, then you can check the process. What it is doing, first it will be creating a temporary table in the work repository itself only where you have created. So work repository created the work table and load data and insert the new rows. Integration, it will be inserting the new rows. How it is going to be inserted, number of records are 10 records, where you can see the code. You can see the code from here. This code is automatically generated by the ODI itself only, no need to worry about from our side. And just check that one. If you are having any issues, you can go and check the code, that code has been created correctly or not. So the temporary tables, how it is going to be created in the table itself, backend table. So here you can see C dollar tables, I dollar tables, these tables will be created. How it is going to be created, the temporary tables. If you can go and check your physical schema, Microsoft SQL Server. Here if you can go and check the FDME target or anything else. So there itself, if you can see any physical schema here itself, there itself you can see that work tables. These are the work tables, right? We are seeing the creating the work table. Work table is nothing but it's temporary table. So when you are go for the loading, I mean like data loading process, it will be creating the staging tables. We have taken the flow, right? If you remember the flow itself here, I mean like in the flow, it's a staging area. Staging area where you have given the schema, there itself the staging schema will be created the temporary tables. Okay, so those temporary tables will be C dollar, I dollar for temporary indexes, IX dollar, errors E dollar, and generalizing J dollar, views JV dollar, triggers T dollar. Likewise, it will be temporarily creating the work tables during the process of data load. Once the data has been loaded, once the data process has been completed, then the table itself, temporary table itself automatically gets deleted. So no need to worry about it. So during the process itself only, it will be created. Once the process has been completed, the tables will be automatically deleted. So insert the number of records. So that's what you can see the step here itself. Drop work table. This entire process will be available if you can see the knowledge modules. Go to the knowledge modules and LKM, and you can see the LKM file to SQL. Double click on here if you can see the steps over there. So drop work table, create work table, load data, drop work table. So these are the steps that all been created here itself in the process details. So if you want to customize any knowledge modules, okay, then you need to add some of the information over here and you need to write your own code over there. So here these are all the ODI ref get table. This is one of the the key table information. Get table is the keyword, or you can say it's a function which we can use in ODI. So you can go and check total ODI admin guide, and whatever the codes that we want to use, you can use the customize your knowledge modules over there. Okay, the steps which are already defined, based on that your process will be generated. And if you want to go any, here you can see delete temporary objects, true. If you are putting as false itself, the temporary tables will not be deleted, and your staging table will be getting increased every time with the number of records which you are giving. So your database size will be getting increased. So here the drop table and everything that you can able to see what the process is going to be done by using this knowledge module. And if you can see the IKM, here itself control append, here itself also will be having some of the steps are there. See here, create target table, drop flow table, create flow table, log generalized table. These are all the steps that we are going to be inserted, but our transaction will be using insert new rows, commit transaction. So whatever the things that we are keeping, based on that the data will be loaded. Okay, so IKM we are using just inserting the data. So if you want to customize, if you are familiar in SQL, then you can customize your steps and add to be added into the knowledge modules. So when you use those knowledge modules, it will be automatically takes place of the those new steps also based on in the sequential order which you maintained in the knowledge modules. Okay, so we have loaded the data, and the data has been loaded and committed, and the temporary table also will be deleted, automatically deleted. So what the our next step? We need to go and check the data in AF interface, right? So go and check AF interface. So what are the records that we are having in our file? These are the 10 records. These 10 records that I have loaded into AF open interface. How I have loaded? Here we have multiple columns are there, like batch name, year, period number, data view, currency, and amount X, and column 1. Likewise we are having like different values are there. So I am not using that of them. So our interface, what it is exactly references. So check that interface here. Batch name that we had given, manual one, it's a hard coded value that we had given. So batch name that we had given as batch data load. So you can see batch data load 2016 for the year 2016 June, and June 6 YTD. Data view is nothing but its default will take as YTD. Amount that we are mapping like amount columns, these two columns that we are mapped it here, and column 1 we have mapped it here. Okay, so column 1 it is mapped and amount is mapped to YTD, and amount YTD both will be mapped over there. So based on that the values are mapped. So likewise if you are having multiple columns like cost center, geography, profit center, or legal entity, likewise if you are having multiple columns in your source, just you simply make them as mappings. You can use column 1 to column 30 in AF open interface. Column 1 to column 30 you can use in AF open interface, and these columns you can refer in ODI as a source adapter, as I explained in previous. Let me log in. So if you can see the source adapter over here, the source adapter open interface, if you can check here, these are the columns, right? These are the column 1 to column 30. These columns only I will be saying here column 1 to column 30. So if you can maintain column 1, I maintained as account, you can maintain column 2 as entity, you can maintain column 3 as geography, profit center, cost center, legal entity, and how many dimensions that you are fetching from your ERP system. Every time you can put on all of them in a different dimensions in columns. Once you made it over there in AF interface, you populated the data on AF interface, and you are going to use this open interface as a source, and these columns which we are not identifying, which we will not be, like user or any developer can't identify what exactly the columns are referring, so that we are not going to identify them. So that what we need to do is we need to go to the FDME, select the open interface from the source adapter, go to the columns, means a source column, and you can give the display name, like what the column is exactly referring. So my column 1 is entity account, and my column 2 is entity, my column 3 is geography, my column 4 is product. Likewise, you know the columns what exactly that we are populating the data on AF table. So for understanding purpose what exactly it is referring the columns, just we need to have some display name over there. We need to give the display name just for understanding what the column is exactly. So you can made it in FDME source adapter, and you need to rename the display name that you need to mention over there. Okay, so once you populated the data, and you need to put it in. So now the next step what I am trying to say is data load from table to table. How we are going to create the interface from table to table. Yesterday I have created one of the table as data, okay, which is having the data like 4 columns: account, description, amount, and entity. Okay, I am having this data. So say just example, just I am giving, like you are having the data in some other tables rather than 5. The table has been given to you as a FDME developer. You need to populate the data from the table to AF table. Okay, that is your requirement. You can do that requirement, you can fulfill that requirement to populate the data on AF table in 2 ways. One is by using the script that you can do, another one is that you can do by using the ODI itself by giving the interface, or else you can write a query like insert into a statement before import script. I will tell you that later on. So before import script, that you can write the query, and you can also populate the data in AF open interface. So there are 2 ways. If you are having the database, business has been given like database, and you need to populate the data into AF for open interface, then you can load the data into HF application. That is your requirement comes to you, and you can do that in 2 ways. One is by using the ODI, you can populate the data into open interface. That is one. If the ODI license is not there, but you need to populate the data into on FDME directly, because the ODI setup is not available in your environment, then what should we do? Then we should go and write the before import script, and we can populate the data into open interface also as well. So first let us see how we can populate the data from table to table. So for that you need to, what you need to write, you need to create one interface. Okay, so you need to create one interface and take the source columns, source tables, and target column as I did yesterday. Okay, so here we are going to map, we are creating the table batch name as BHFM table to AF table, and rest of the columns are same, and data column that I have created, and the data account, and column 2 I am taking as entity. Likewise, if you are having multiple columns, then columns are mapping to each columns how many that you want to manage over here. Okay, you can use all of them also. So quick edit, you can check the here, like if you want to put them filters or any joins are over there, just you can do it. Flow diagram, here if you can see, I'm going to use only one one staging schema. It's just I'm using a target as a schema because of it's a table to table, so I don't require any staging schema. So my target I am using as a staging area, temporary staging area that I am going to be used. And you can see the properties over here. So IKM, just I'm going to IKM, I am going to use here as a SQL control append. There is not required like loading. LKM is not required because of everything in the same page. Just that's what I am do. I am not going to use any load LKM, load knowledge modules. Okay, just you can use the IKMs and you can load the data into target instance itself only directly. Okay, so you need to define this one this way. So SQL to SQL. So once you are creating this table, you need to re-import this table into your models again, right? So here you can see, just I am going to use the data table, do the reverse engineering. By doing the reverse engineering, you will be getting the data table also along with your AF open interface. So if the table is not available in FDME target, like FDME schema, it will be like some other schemas also. You need to establish the connection again from topology, and you need to get it back. Okay, so all of them you need to get it back, and you need to do the reverse engineering, and you need to have those tables itself. Okay, so then you need to pull the source and target and do the joins and create the flows and everything to be created. So once you create just you need to load the data into again target. Target would be your open interface. So here also you can see the steps. So it is like inserting the new rows and commit the transactions. How many records it been updated? Just you can check here 5 rows. So go to like SQL and check the data. So here in previous there are 10 records are all there, and now the data has been. How you can identify, how you can differentiate the data from one load to another load? We can differentiate the data by using the batch name. So by using the batch name only, we can load the data into AF, in FDME to HFM application. How we can differentiate? For that, you need to go and check the data load rule. For BHFM, that is fine. So open interface, let me check the location as open interface location. So while creating the location itself, you need to make sure that source and target would be open interface. For that, we need to first check import format. Okay. So here itself, we can check BHFM open interface adapter. We need to create the one of the interface which is having the source adapter is open interface adapter. Otherwise, I will create for you again. Let me create here one of the interface BHFM open. I am creating as a open IF. So source would be ERP. Source would be ERP. And what is the source? In previous we had taken file. Now I am going to take as open interface. Target is BHFM application. What is the source adapter that we had given the values and populate the column names, that we have taken as open interface is the adapter, right? So you have given the open interface adapter and BHFM open interface adapter. So now what's the next step? You need to have all the columns over here. Once you do the changes in open interface adapter, you will be having all the columns over here. So I'm going to map my account over here, entity is mapping over here, and ICP is also become as account here. Just I am giving because of all the values are over there. Okay, save this one. Likewise, you need to map the values over there. Once you provided the values, you need to regenerate the scenario. You need to regenerate the scenario. Why we need to regenerate the scenario? Let me log in into ODI, which is connecting to FDME. Okay, connecting to the FDME. So here you can see what if you are getting any errors, it will be showing here itself only. So Let me connect and regenerate the scenario. So we need to regenerate the ODI scenario. So open interface in the sense, let me go back here, BME, open interface adapter project. So here if you are doing any changes, you need to regenerate the scenario. We can regenerate the scenarios from here itself. See here itself, BHFM open interface one is, another one is BHFM openint IF, right? Now which one we created? The interface which we created is BHFM open interface. That interface you can regenerate. So normally in ODI perspective, you can do the regenerate option from here itself. You can see the regenerate option from here itself. So normally, I mean, like as a FDME developer, we don't have access on ODI application, I mean like ODI scenarios and all. We don't have access on ODI. So normally this feature is also available in ODI, I mean FDME itself. So you need to regenerate the scenario. Once you do that regenerate scenario, system automatically gets regenerated the scenario from here itself. Okay. So this scenario will be automatically take care about the scenarios and everything which will be regenerated over here. Okay, so I will be explain what is the scenario and how it is that, I mean like we haven't covered this one, just we have covered about the interface from the project itself. We can see the packages and everything that we can see later on how it will be going to use. I will be explain all these things. Okay, now we just moved back to the FDME. When once the data has been loaded into AF interface. Okay, later on what's the next step? The data is available on your AF interface, and then the next step would be the data load process from here to HFM application. So for that what we did, that we created the source, I mean like import format which is pointing from source is open interface and pointing to the target is like HFM application, and we did the mappings from your source adapter to target HFM dimensions, and we did it. Thereafter you can check for the location. I created a BHFM location. Just I'm going to change the import format as open IF, our import format that I have given. So you can check the source adapters and everything has come up, right? Okay, your BHFM open interface location has been created. The next step would be you have created your location and everything. Then next step, the data load rule. Data load rule for BHFM open interface adapter, right? So I am going to take which period that I have taken, June period. The data is available in my source. Okay, so then you need to provide the information, BHFM open interface, actual scenario, exosit, and everything is fine here. But here you need to know the 2 points. 2 points you need to remember. One is like how you can identify the data from your source table. How you are going to identify the data from source table. Here you can see BHFM table to AF, and here I have the BHFM data load. Two kinds of batches are over there. Which location data that I need to, I mean which data that I need to use for my location of BHFM openend. So that you need to have the batch name. So batch name here, BHFM table name that I am going to use my for the purpose of data loading. Just use that one here. Table to AF is the batch name. Delete data after import. You want to delete the data from after import from AF open interface, you can put it as yes. You don't to delete, you can put it as no over there. Okay, so this option you need to remember. Another option is like calendar. So this calendar, if you can remember, in period settings we have given like period mappings only from global mappings and application mappings. There itself you can find the source mapping is also over there. Then you can go there and tell about your open interface period mappings. So here you need to take which mappings that you are going to be used. Here your GL year, that is from open interface. Here the GL year is like 2016, and GL period, that is June. GL period number, that is 6 that you had given. If you are populating over here also 6, then you definitely give period is also 6. If you are populating the data as June, you can give the mapping as June. How you are populating the data on AF interface, that information you need to pass it over here, so that system can understand that you are pulling the data for the June period. Otherwise you will be getting the errors over here. That is one point. Once you create the calendar, this calendar that you need to use, this calendar, whatever the calendar definitions that you have given from the source you are fetching the data, this information you need to provide while creating the data load rule. So here yourself you need to take the calendar over here. Okay, so that calendar will be using to fetch the data from sources. Okay, how it is getting the data from the AF table? So based on your batch name, based on your calendar, the data will be fetching. So once created the data load rule, how to fetch from AF open interface. So that's what you are not having the other options over here. If you can go for the file, it will be asking over here, the source option would be file name, file directory. That will be the source information that you need to provide. But whereas for open interface, you need to give the batch name only instead of giving the file names and all. Just execute. Import from source and recalculate here itself. Process details you can check over here. So the data has been imported. Go and check the data load workbench and you can see the 5 records data. See here also you need to revalidate how many records that it's been imported, right? That is also that you need to make sure that your testing is correct or not, right? So here you can see out of 15 records, just I have imported 5 records only. So why? Because I have only 5 records with the batch name of DHFM table to AF table. Okay, so likewise you can import the data. The export will be normal only. Just our intention is like how to import the data from open interface. What are the parameters that we need to remember? That itself we did. Export is normal only. Then you can export from here or you can export from data load rule also. Simply you can export the data. That itself simple. So export is normal only, it will be loaded. Okay, so this is the way that you can manage the data load, from open interface to HFM application. Any questions on open interface? Who somebody else has, who's this? Should you have mentioned that ODI is followed the mechanism ETL and ELT format? Please give some light when we will go the ETL and when ETL. What is the difference apart from extraction, loading and transfer mechanism? What is the difference in the output? Yeah, that's what I said yesterday. I mean, like here, if you can see, who's this? Deep or Dilip? So the mechanism that you need to understand here, when I have the flow diagram, when I have show the flow diagram, right? If you can see the flow diagram, it's not been like if you are not having the second interface. I mean, like, let me go with here. So here how it is going to be used in the flow diagram. It is like a ELT tool. I mean, because of the source and target would be in the same page, right? Same database. When you go for this file format, if you can see the flow diagram, Here it is the staging area different. As I explained yesterday, if you can check that changing the staging table from target, right? So staging area different from target. Staging area is different from target means your staging will be as a separate one. So that's one. Staging is a separate schema that you are taking as a staging area. That means that your transformations will be done in a staging area. At that moment, it will be working as a ELT tool, I mean ETL tool, sorry, ETL tool. And when you are going to use like flow diagram, if you can see here for AF, directly it will be loading the data into target. Thereafter, it will be doing the transformations over here. There is no transformations will be done before in staging area, right? So directly it will be loading the data into target. Thereafter, your staging area will be taking care about the transformations. Okay, it will be depend on your staging area how you are going to be managed. So if you can see this example also, if I can take the staging area different, then you can change this staging area as different, and your transformations will be done in the staging area. Thereafter the data will be loaded. Okay, so that is the
So
difference only. Yeah, staging area is the where you want to differentiate the staging area. If you are taking the
so
staging area as different, then the transformations will be taken in staging area. If you are not taking the separate staging area, target would be your staging area. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, that is fine. But how do you get to know which mechanism you should follow that?
That is your requirement. I mean, if you want to have the separate, there is no definition that you need to go this way, right? If we are having the two opportunities, two approaches, then you need to go which is the best one. If your target is having like some, I mean, uh, I mean like mm, having like more information is there, but it is not able to capable to do the staging and data loading once at a time in your target schema. That is not the capable. Then you need to have the separate staging area. Then you need to do the transformations in staging area. Then you can load the target. It's all about how you define your schema structures and database structures that you maintain.
Is nothing like that. It's a better approach. That ETL is a better approach. Yeah, ELT is a better approach. Yeah,
It's
result wise
Yeah,
also.
it depends. I mean, because of which one is the performance wise, which is the best one. What I am saying, trying to say is performance. Like if you are going to use that ETL, the performance, if you are having the number of like lakhs of records are there. If you are going to use as a target schema you are using as a staging, if will it be
Mhm.
comfortable and will it be giving the good performance to you to do the staging area also in target? If you are okay with that, go that way. I mean, if your performance of the target schema is not performing good, if you are taking as a staging area, then definitely you should go for the staging area. And moreover, some of the joins will not be performed in the target. At that moment also you need to go and do work on staging area. The area, I mean like the joins and some of the filters and some of the lookups. If you want to maintain those transactions or transformation that you want to perform on staging area, then definitely go for the staging area. It's all about how you are designing your interfaces. Okay.
Okay.
You need
Got
to think about performance. You need to think about your joins. You need to think about your source and target, everything that you need to know so that you can give the which way that you want to go, that you need to define at the time of the requirements, and you need to design in that way. Okay. So any questions on open interface, how you are going to load the data or something? Somras, show you data in HFM. Okay, HFM application that it's been loaded. It will be available. No worries. I will show you BHFM where we have loaded into target application, right? Target application is BHFM application only. If you can check that. So here itself that is loaded into BHFM application. So The table is this one, right? There is no register cluster server. What is this? Okay, fine then. So documents, new data grid, 2016. Your period is entity is IN, it seems. And entity that we have given, ICP is none. Okay, period, department and everything is none only. Yeah, fine. Period is June. Accounts 100005 00005. Right, this is the data that you have loaded, right? So why it is having three records, that you need to tell here. So here these are the two accounts are same, right? These are the two accounts are same, that is going to be sum up and will be giving the values into the HF application, right? And here another two records are there. So here 10 is another one, 15 is another one. 10 and 15, 10 and 15 is having the same values, right? So here two records are same, that's what it is going to be sum up. And here these are the two things. So this one and this one, these three are getting sum up because of these three accounts are same. And this one is different, and you are will be having like 6,000 and 1 lakh, sorry, 10,000 will be in separate account, if you can see. So and here you need to see, if you are loading the data into a through open interface or FDME, you can see the icon in the left corner icon, right? So that's what it is coming from your source system. I mean like FDME is kind of thing. So you can check the drill through option over here. If you are going to HF application, there is a main important one is drill through. You can check the drill through to the source connections also. If you are giving the drill through option in FDME, if you remember the drill through option that we need to provide while providing the open interface, there itself you need to provide the drill through option is there, right? If you can check the location, not location, import format. So here itself you need to give the drill through URL over there. If you can provide that one, then only you can able to see the drill through option from HFM application. Okay, are you able to see the data now, Somraj? Okay, fine. So that you are clear, right? How you want to load the data into from AF open interface, and you can check the data into HFM application. You can see the data into HFM application also as well, right? That you are okay. So is there any questions about open interface, how to load the data and all? Any questions? So then move on to ODI. Then we have some more steps in ODI. Okay, this is fine. So moving back to ODI. So we are creating the interfaces and all. That should be fine. But while creating the interfaces, that we need to know the source and target and the knowledge modules, and that we need to check over there. So thereafter we can see some variables also. Here package is last we can see. Before that we will be creating some variables, some procedures in the package. I mean, like, before going to create the package, let me otherwise go with start with package. So first I want to create one of the package is nothing but a workflow in the sense, in the sequential order, how you want to load the data into target applications. I mean, like, target instance I'm saying. So package, I am going to create data load package. I have created the data load package. So this data load package is like any package. You can create as many packages as you want to create. Here itself in the diagram command. So here you can put all the information in a sequential order. Say for example, I have two interfaces, table to AF and table to data load. So I want to put all of them into a sequential order. Drag and drop over here in this window, in this window, and you can put the sequential order one by one. How you can put them? By using the OK and KO. KO is failure and OK is pass. So if it is pass, then it goes to here. If it is pass, then goes to here. But how you are going to manage all this information? By using some variables, by using some procedures, by using some file commands, some file movements, and some of the internet options, mail commands, and whatever the options that we are having here, you need to put all of them by using the ODI objects. These are all of nothing but ODI objects. You need to check which object is useful to us and check the requirement is available in the ODI or not, and do some exercise and put into a sequential order. Say for example, here I would like to load the data for some of the variables by using the data load. So for that I am going to create some variables. So here variables are two types. One is global variables, another one is local variables. If you are creating within the project, then that should be a local variable. If you can see the global objects, you can see global variables, global objects, and global knowledge modules. Everything is global. So if you create over here, you can use across any project. But here I am going to create the local variables over here itself. Say for example, just I am creating one of the new variable. Just I am taking like AF period. AF period that you can take. So I am taking as AF period information that I am taking here itself, or else you can take anywhere that you want to put the values. So here I am going to use refreshing, and here you need to check the logical schema, from which logical schema that you want to take the data. So you can use FDME target L and write the query over here. Select period from AF open underscore interface where dash underscore name equals to okay. So refresh this one. Let us check the history. It has some issue. DMA invalid object name. Okay, spelling mistake it seems. So. Let me check whether it is working. It is giving multiple records. It should give. Variable should return only single value. It shouldn't take multiple records into the table. So you can check here. Hey, why it is taking invalid object name. Okay, might be the logical schema that we need to change. It's working fine here itself, right? Okay, let me check the logical schema. LDME JDBC, this is fine. Context, it is fine. JDBC driver, SQL server, JDBC target connection FDME. Invalid object. AF open interface constraint. Let me check the models FDME target. Okay, here we are using FDME target. Okay, interface is fine. FDME target interface is fine. But we have loaded data. It is not something from here. So some issue is there. I mean, like normally it is giving the value, but when we are fetching the value from ODI, we are getting issue. Let me check that one. ODI, it has to return the value into the here itself. Before going to create any variables in ODI, first we need to perform on the SQL developer or SQL server where you are working. So just refresh that one. I mean, like make sure that query is working fine. Then you need to create in FDM in ODI itself. Let me check this one. Why it is not? It is having some issue with the server connection, it seems. There is a issue, it seems. Invalid offset name. So already we have loaded the data into AF open interface. Again it is saying like invalid intersection. Okay, we'll see later on. I mean, like it's already mean that we have loaded the data into AF open interface table, right? So again it is saying from the same server itself only it is having some issue, I guess. Let me check the direct default value are taking or not. June. Okay, okay, that is one of the things that we can see that text. Fine, then let me check the text value here. The text value, secure value, default value, just I'm taking as true. The period. DME target, just a minute. No, it is having some issue with the database level only. I mean, like in ODI, it seems it's all valid connections that I am having the connections with this one, but it is not getting connected with variables, it seems. So there might be issue with the variables with the database. Okay, not an issue. The intention of this one is like you need to create your variables. I mean, like to get the single value, returned value that from here itself by using the uh, variables. And what you need to do is you need to keep them into a order also. Again, you need to take the AF period, or you need to take the AF year, and everything that you need to get it from here. And here the main intention of, again, these things are there. So here we are having like some more variables. So here like refresh variable, declare variable, set variable, or something are there. So what is the difference between them? So refresh variable is like when you are giving the any value over here, so here we are writing the query, right? So it will be refreshed for every time. It will be getting refreshed the period name every time when you want to run that procedure. I mean like the package. When you are running the package, it will be getting refreshed for every runtime. Okay. But when you go for the declare variable, you can give the variable at a time. It will be declared in the previous refresh variable. Thereafter, you can give the declared variable. It will be having one value over there. So set variable. So you can set the value over here. Say for example, assign. I'm going to give value as June. So I'm assigning the value this period, and this is I'm setting the value. So it's a hard coded value. Just I can say this is a hard coded value. We never change this one. If every time that the variable should be like that, then you can put the variable and evaluate variable. Evaluate variable in the sense when you refresh AD, I mean you are having like AF period is there. In that we are having the query. That query is equals to June, then do something. That query is giving like greater than something, do something, the next step. Okay, you can do something, you can do something. So that is you are evaluating in a sense. In means you are having these values, then do something. So you are retrieving the values from that variable. That variable is giving some value. If that value is greater than this or less than this or equals to this, then do something. That is a process that you are doing. So these many ways that you can do the declare variables, refresh variables, and set variables, and everything that you can manage. Set variable in the sense, I mean declare variable in the sense, whatever the value that you are having in this variable AF period, that is always been declared at once. It will not be refreshing. So if you want to go for the refresh, you can do the refresh for every runtime. And during the process, if you want to make which is the first step, then it will be followed. So for that, you need to make it as first step. Here if you can see the green button, this is the first step, but I don't want to go for this one. This is the first step, then you can put it as here first step. Then based on that, you can put the next condition. If you are doing some evaluations like evaluations things on this, then you can put the evaluate variable, and if it is greater than this, then go to this, and if it is not greater than this, then do something from here. So let me put the another interface here. I'm deleting this one. So if it is greater than this, you can go this way, otherwise you can come to here. This is false condition. If you can see this here, it's a false condition. You can do the false statement. It is evaluating variable. Okay, once you did that, you want to move the file from one path to another path, then what we need to do is file move is ODI file move. These are all we are calling them as ODI file object. ODI file objects. These are all ODI file objects, mail objects. Everything will be there. You need to do by more practice or getting the requirements. You need to analyze the objects which are available. You can do more on this into ODI. So if you can having this one ODI file move, then you need to give the directory, file name, and all the objects that we need to provide it here. Say for example, this is the directory that you are having, ODI directory, and ODI file name. This is the file name that we need to provide over there. Say for example, here I am going to create folder as archive. Okay, target directory. Target file name is also, if you want to put it as sysdate, I am just giving if it works or not, override files or something. So you need to give the file directory, source directory. Once you do this, if the file has been loaded, then you can put it as the next step would be file move. Likewise, you need to put all the information in sequential order. So the next step would be like procedures. What is the procedures? Likewise, you need to create as many variables as you required. You can create all of them. Procedures. So procedures, what it will be doing? So procedure is a set of commands that we can insert the values, delete the values, update the values, so into a interface, into a table. So that you need to create here. Data load. Okay. So now here I am going to create one of the command like insert. Insert. Okay. So you need to define the technology. Context you can take it as global, and you need to write the commands over here, or you can write the update command, insert command, or delete command that you want to do. You can do from all them from here. So say for example delete. So I am going to use the command over here, and in the definition you need to select the technology here itself also. And schema, on which schema that you are going to do, that I am going to do on FDME schema. So here what I am trying to do is delete from AF underscore open underscore interface where batch underscore name equals to this one. I want to do delete from AF open interface where batch name is this that I want to load. So how, where you are defining that schema, that logical schema, from here you are now you are going to define. So whenever you want to load the data, the fresh data, I mean like AF open interface is having. So again, if you are running the AF open interface data from one of the ODI object, the data will be appended, right? So if you want to delete the data, you can manage the data deletion in two ways. One is data load. Here itself you can put the flow control and check the uh, properties here. Okay, is fine. Okay, I'm file to SQL. So here you can check and truncate the data. From target you want to truncate, you can put it as true. So while loading the data again and again, it will be truncating the data over here. If you don't want to truncate from the interface itself, if you want to truncate from a procedure by checking the period and all, if it is truncating, then it will be truncating the data from your AF open interface. But I don't want to delete the data from AF open interface. I would like to go with a separate procedure. Then you need to maintain where delete from AF open interface where batch name is like this, and period name, which is the variable consist. Then you can use the period name, whatever the period name that you are fetching from a variable. Then if you want to put this variable over here, definitely you will be giving like period hash AF underscore period. Likewise you need to define, okay, AF underscore period, that you need to define like this. So if you are giving like this, the variable first step in the in the procedure, in the package itself, the variable itself first will be fetching the value, and then value will be giving the return value over here, and it will be deleting the data which you are running the period. That period itself, the data will be deleted from the AF open interface. Likewise, you can manage the variables. You can reuse the variables where you want to use them. So let me run this one. It might not be also work. We'll see if it works fine. No. So the same value, so the same issue that we will be getting, value or interface invalid object name, so that it is not fetching from here itself. So if you can create this one and you want to you want to use this procedure before loading the data into AF table, so then you can put it over here in between. So all the steps you can put all of them into a sequential order, and you can save this one. Like what you are doing in the package. The package itself is having the different objects information, different objects information that will be stored them into a sequential order. How this sequential order will be created? So for that you need to create the scenario. So you don't have any scenarios here, if you can see. So what you need to do is you need to create the scenario over here. So generate scenario. Once you generated the scenario, it will be giving the scenario name and scenario version. If you can click on OK, it will be created the scenario. Okay, if you do any changes in it, like if you are adding ODI mail send, so if you can send that all the data has been loaded. If you want to put the ODI mail send, mail notifications need to be sent, so you put this change, and if you don't do the regenerate of the scenario, this date mean that the new change will not be get affected. So what you need to do is, once you created or once you do your changes into the package, the next step would be you need to regenerate the scenario. So then only the new change will be getting reflected into your scenario. The scenario is the most important one again and again, because of whenever you do the new changes, you need to regenerate the scenario. You can use this scenario and you can call them externally, I mean like by using the Unix commands or something, that you can call this scenario so that this package will be executed. So whenever you want to load this package, simply you can run the package from here. So it will be automatically executed the total sequential orders one by one. So that means all of the objects will be executed at once. Once you start this data load, the data load process and everything will be started, and the flow will be executed based on the conditions, based on the mails that you have given, and everything will be executed step by step over there. Okay, so if you are getting any failures, then it will be showing over the failures in the same. Now it's working AF period. How? Okay, it's a refresh variable that we have given, that is fine. So the procedures, the next step is procedures and everything that you are going to be giving over there. So the steps will be go one by one. If you are getting any failure over there, then it will be showing this. Okay, so you can create as many as packages over here, and we can put all of them into a one order, and you can call them internally. I mean like if you want to call one scenario to another scenario, say for example here one data load scenario is there, you another new package, data load one, another scenario that we are having. So I'm having multiple scenarios. Once this process is completed, I would like to call the another scenario in the sense ODI data load scenario that I would like to call. Then there is a object called as ODI start scenario. So if you can use this one, ODI start scenario, it will be internally calling the again another scenario. See here itself, data load one is another scenario is there. So if you can give it over here the scenario name and 00 version that you want, give it over here, what will be happen? When you load the data for the sequential order, everything gets completed. Then you would like to call the another scenario for data loads. Then you can call the scenario internally in this one. So once this is completed, again it will be calling the second scenario. So whatever the objects that you had given in this second scenario, it will be calling. Likewise, internally you will be calling the scenarios internally one another one. The flow will be moving from one, once the flow is completed, it will be moving to the next flow. Okay. Likewise, you can create the packages and you can call them internally the scenarios. One within the package you can create multiple packages, 4 or 5 packages, and create the scenarios, and we'll call them internally one to another one. So this is the way that you can put all of the objects into a one workflow, and you can start your data load process from any technology to any technology. Okay. This is like overview of about what is drill URL. Drill URL in the sense drill through, mean like if you want to put the data from HFM applications to go back to FDME, then that is like a drill through URL. That will be getting from infrastructure team will be provided that information. We can have it and we need to provide it over there. Okay. So any questions on ODI? Mean like that variable is not working from here, but the things, what are the variables uses, what are the procedures uses, that we can see. This is like overview about ODI, how you can work and how you are going to use these all objects. These all objects so that you can manage, and you can check from each one from admin again how it is. It's a simple one, just you need to take it a file copy. So this is about all file information, how you are going to source directory, file directory, and everything. This is about deals about all the file, zip file, appending file, output file, delete file, and everything, make a directory, and everything that you can use this file events, and internet that you can use for FTP or get put FTP and mail sendings and everything information available in internet. And utilities, it will be like OS command. ODI OS command will be using for your Unix commands and all, and ODI start scenario and ODI OS command is also there. So by using them you can use some of the utilities over there. And this is for SAP. These are all for some ODI scenarios related. Okay, you can use them, all of them, where you want to use exactly you can use them. Event detection in the sense ODI file wait. If you want to wait for some time for your file wait, then you can keep them to wait. Mean your file will be coming like 5 minutes late. So you have already scheduled that process, but you need to wait for some time. Then you can use the ODI file wait, read mail, ODI sleep. So these are all event based things are all there. This is for CDC, change data capture. So if you want to see all of them, this is the all that you can find all of them over there. So by using the utilities, how you are going to manage, by using them you can work on ODI. So this is all about at high level, I can say at 50% of ODI. It's not like 100%. So rest of the things that we can do more exercise on it. I mean, because of it's all about how the flow is look like that I have explained. So the next way is like that we need to put the efforts and do the exercises. Based on that it will be workout. Any questions on it?
Hi, Sunny. Deep here.
Yeah.
Yeah, then why you are going for ODI then? FDME works the same in a better manner.
Yeah.
So why
But
you will go for
ODI means,
yes,
see here itself, if you are having that, here I have given the simple examples. Okay. But I'm going to real scenario, like your ERP system is there, right? Your ERP
yes,
system, it will be fetching the data and you need to put the data into AF open interface.
yes,
Okay. So how you are
yes,
going to put the data directly from your ERP to open interface? That is one thing. Okay. You may have ERP direct integration with FDME. You may ask that question. I mean, why do I need to go for AIF interface? I directly connect it to the
Yes.
ERP integration. Okay, that is also
Yes.
possible. Apart from that, you may have some supplementary data. You may have some other data that will maintain in AF table. Sorry, in other Oracle systems. Okay, other Oracle schemas. That tables will be maintained some data that you need to maintain or you need to populate on AF open interface. That is also will be possible through what I can say
That,
before import script. Okay, that is also possible without ODI. It's all about just I am saying if the client is going to use the ODI. Say for example, the client is having more data into different tables. Okay, they want to maintain into a synchronized way that they want to keep into a ODI schema, one of the schema, and they want to load the data into AF open interface. Then how can we do? Definitely we go for ODI, correct? If it is
yes.
single schema or single table that you are using or simple schema that you are using, you can manage by using the AF open interface, right? By using the before import
Yes.
script. But if you are having multiple schemas, multiple sources, multiple targets are there that you want to manage all of them into a in a synchronized way, then what should we do? We can't identify all of them individually, right? So
Yes.
you need to maintain ODI and keep these tables are being maintained this data, and this data we are going to being used to load the data into FDME AF tables, and thereafter we are loading into HFM application. There should be some sequential order that we are going to maintain the data load process.
Yes, as per the requirement.
Yeah.
Can I say like that? Can I say like that is FDM plus ODI is FDM double?
Yeah, ODI itself will be using the front end is FDME, back end is open interface, right? So if you can
Open end.
see
Yes.
here itself, what I explained now, the total setups will be created automatically. I mean, like created when you configure the application. Okay, there itself these steps will be created. So let us see one by one here. These are the variables, declared variables that they have given, right?
Yes.
We not to change anything. We need not to change. These are the declared variables that are taking from application side itself only. Okay, all the values are fetching from there itself. So here once the declared variables, it is like taking the process ID. Process ID in the sense the process which we created. Partition key, it's a location. Category key, it's a category. Rule ID, it's a rule name. Period key, it's a period. Period ID, period name, period num, period year, ledger name, batch name, delete data. Okay, everything that it is taking. Okay, the session number is nothing but your ODI session number. So the next interface is ERPI data interface. This interface will be, see here itself. We haven't created this one. System itself will be taking this one, right? So this interface, what it is doing, the data will be loaded from AF open interface to T data seg underscore T. That I said, right? Temporary table where we can maintain the data before loading into main table T data seg under T data seg, right?
Yes.
So these are all been defined itself in the backend itself while configuring the application. We are not going to design them. We are not going to touch anyway. Okay, because of it, this is all all about backend, which is Oracle been provided. If you do some customization, if you are getting some issues, Oracle will not provide the support because of these are all defined one. Okay, just we need to use them as per our requirement. Okay. So this interface will be populating the data from AF open interface to T data seg underscore T table. Thereafter, it will be deleting the data and delete open interface data if you want to delete that one. So here itself procedure, just I said, right? So here you can delete the data from AF open interface. Clear?
Yes. Can you do like that from the ERP system directly to my uh, and means open interface? We are using ODI, right?
Yeah.
So is there any other processes there with the ODI you can do that?
Yeah, we can. So you need to know your ERP tables and what is the query that you are fetching the data from your ERP, right?
Yes, through scripts I'm saying.
Yeah, so whatever the query that you are fetching to create the file or some to put into a file data, so you need to use the same query and apply in interface and create the interface from sources to target and populate the data by using the joins and filters and everything on your sources side, and whatever the selected data that you are fetching from your source, that data you need to populate on the target table, which you will be creating as a staging table. Okay, then use that
Yes.
one staging table, then you can populate the data into AF open interface by using by creating another interface.
Okay.
Got it? So just I am saying,
Yes.
so use the ERP tables, use the query which they have provided, ERP team that have provided to you. Okay, create one
Yes.
table, create one table,
Staging.
yeah, staging table. What are the columns? I
Okay.
mean here the columns will be divided, I mean defined in query, right? Select from,
Yes.
they will
Yes.
give some columns like 10 columns or 12 columns. You can create, by using the 12 columns you can create one own table as per your
Yes.
requirement. Okay, these
Yes.
12 columns will be populated based on the query which you have defined. So these 12 columns will be available here, right?
Yes.
Thereafter you can use this table and you can put AF open interface, another interface that you can create, and use this one as source and use AF as the target and load the data.
So, so before that, what was the drawback that can I go for that directly from the source ERP to my HFM application? Can
Yeah,
I
you
go
can
for
do,
OD?
you can ERP to AF that you are asking directly.
ERP to HFM directly, can I go for OD only without FDME?
Yeah, without FDME you can't do this. Directly ERP to HFM you can go directly FDME by using the FDME.
Okay.
ERP to mean like here also we have direct integration with ERP to HFM. Okay.
Yes, that's what I'm. Yes.
In between we are having FDME. Okay. There is a
Yes.
integration with ERP to FDME and it will be loading to HFM application. We have the direct
Yes.
integration like by using the FDME. We can go in this way also. Which approach that they are going to be used, that is defined by the business, right? Which way that we want to
Yes.
go.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
can, I will show you this one later at the end of the session today. I will show you, because of we don't have any ERP system. What are the parameters that we need to follow, that I will explain. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll have 10 minutes break and come back and we'll see some FDME things, open batch and multi-period data loading that we can see. So any questions on ODI, please let me know. And we can see some of the things like multi-period data loading and open batch data loading. We'll see. Okay, so once we'll come back and we'll see the things about batch definition and open batch information that we can see today, and if possible we can see the logic groups and multi-period data loading also. We'll see two things are there today's for multi-period data loading and batch definition. The two things we'll see, and if possible we can see the logic group. Okay, we'll have 10 minutes break and we'll come back. Any questions, please let me know. Thanks. Sorry. Yeah, no issues. Okay, okay. I will repeat the thing, no issues. The step which I have given. Okay. For recording purpose, I am again giving this information, batch definition. Batch definition, you need to create the batch by adding. First, you need to give in the definition. Here, you need to take the serial way that you want to load or parallel data load that you want to load. You can select and give the target name. Here, data type should be, the batch type would be data, and you can give the data load rules as many as you want to add for the data load purpose. See, for example, here I have given one. I'm going to give another one also here. Batch open it. Okay, this is also I'm giving as 20. So open interface one load and file load that I have given, and first one this one and second one this one. This is the sequential way that I am going to load. If you want to put it as parallel, you can take it as parallel way. So is there any wait time is required or no wait? I don't want to wait for anything. That should be parallelly it should has to run. I'm not giving any sequential order over there. Okay. So you have defined your batch rules, and thereafter you need to give the parameters, which period that it has to be loaded. So import from source, export to target, and like import mode. Import mode, it's like a replace or append, what kind of import mode that you want to go itself. Otherwise, snapshot. So you need to give the start period, end period, and export to target mode, which mode that you want to load the data. So once you define this batch, you can go for the batch definition, sorry, batch execution, and then you can execute this batch and check the process details for your data load process. Okay, so it will be loading the data. For once it's loaded, then it will be loading the data into the application. So that's fine, but here again you can see that batch group is there. If you observe here, batch group is there. So within the batch group, if you can create, and you can add so many batch groups into batches into this group. Okay, here you can see batch group is there. If you want to align that batch group, you can align this task into that particular batch group. The same related information will be stored into that particular batch group. It will be easy to identify all the data loads into similar batch group. This is like normal data load process. We have another setup is also there, open batch, open data load. Okay, open batch is another one. So for that, what is the setups are required? If we can see the data load process, if we can see the data load process in the backend folder structure, FDME, BHFM, inbox, there is a batches folder is there, right? Here itself, if you can see open batch is there. How I can manage the open batch data loading? How I can manage the data load process? So if you want to load the data through a open batch file, the file format should be look like this. Just let me explain that open batch. So while creating the open batch file, the file format should be like this. So the sequential number and the location and the scenario, year and period, R is nothing but its input from source. Another one R is export to target, replace and replace. Job sequential, what's it differs? Job sequential number in the sense if you are putting in a sequential order, you want to run one by one, right? So if you want to run one by one, then definitely you need to give the sequential order. If you want to put all of them into a if you want to put all of them into a one manner, no parallel runs, then you need not to give the sequential number, right? Parallel data loadings and sequential data loading. So if you are go for real time, if you want to go for the sequential order, sequential order 1, 2, then it will be sequential order. In parallel runs, what will be done? It will be 1, 2, both will be loaded in the same way, right? So this is parallel load, this is like sequential load. So if you want to go for sequential, you can go with that way. Next, here itself. So here, uh, this is like import from source and export to target, and the file should be text format. Okay. So that I have created, and you can have any delimiter over there. What kind of delimiter that you need to have? You need to use the pipe symbol and all. You can use that. Okay. So here the sequential number is there. This is my location. This is my scenario. This is my year and period. This is my loading process. Okay. For this, I'm going to create the batch. Create new batch. This is for open batch. It's not like a data load rule batch. It's like open batch. Open batch file. So the application where you want to load, BHFM application only. There is no serial or parallel. Serial I am just taking. So here you are going to change the open batch. Here data means you are getting the rule names and you are adding the rule names. By using the rule name, the data will be so getting based on the rule name. It will be having the source, target, everything information, and input from source and export to target. That is happening fine. But here I am going to take open batch. I am taking as a open batch. Okay. So here file separator is asking what kind of file it is. The delimiter is at the return. And here another thing is you can see auto create data rule. So already we are creating the data load rules while loading the data for a normal procedure of the file. But here I am using the open batch. So system automatically gets created the data load rule. So you need to put it as create auto data load rule. And the parameter side. Here you need not to give anything. Just it will be giving input from source, export to target. Because of the period and everything information that you are providing here. Scenario information, location information, period information, everything that you are providing over here. Right? So simply you can take from here itself only. So save this one, open batch and file is there. So check your file should be placed in the open batch file, open batch folder. So let me place this file into open batch folder. The file should be placed into open batch. So once you created all the information, go to the batch definition and batch execution, then you can execute the open batch. So go to check the process details. See here the batch is there and another batch HFM actual which we haven't created. This is auto created. If you want to check that one, go to data load rule BHFM. You can see here. This is auto created data load rule that which is created by us, that is BHFM. BHFM by actual is the auto created data load rule. It means automatically gets created and it will be executed by using the execution. System automatically start the data load process right into target applications. If you want to see this one, you can check the log over here, batch log. Here we can see the file copy from here open batch to open batch 39. 39 is the folder will be automatically created every time. If you can keep the files over here, it will be created separate folders one by one. It will be getting created and it will be move the files into that folder. So executing open batch R&R data load rule, it will be created automatically. It's already been executed. So using that one. So periods, June period, import from mode, source, replace, export to target, replace, execution done for this file, right? So it will be taking the information from there and it will be automatically gets created the information and it will be loaded the data into target by using the open batch. And likewise you can use different batches also over there. Batch within the batch, Then you can use the batch definition there itself. You can use like metadata and not yet defined. It is 11.124.200 it's been using. And a batch within the batch that you can use open batch multi-period. If you are having multi-periods in that application, I mean like in the source file, we can use that multi-period. So at that moment, what will be changes? Your start. So if you can give it like this, the period, I mean the input format also will be different for multi-period. I will show you the multi-period import format, how you are going to do. So just going to for multi-period data loading, go to the import format. We have created one multi-period file over here. Okay. So account is one, ICP is also one, entity is hard coded one, and it is been center. And when you comes to the multi-period data loading, here we are having like fixed, delimited, and multi-period is there. So whenever going for the multi-period, we will be having like one more column, like at amount section in the script level, you will be finding the column. So the column means the amount field will be saying like from starting period to ending period. I can say 4, 6. That means 4, 5, 6. Those are the values that I am going to take as a multi-period data loading. Okay. Save this one. And I need to create the file for multi-period. File save as GL underscore multi. Save. Same data that I am taking as for 2 more columns. The file would be like this. Because of the everything intersection is there, but it is multi-period data in the sense for Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, like that. Let me prepare the data file. Prepare this one. Let us see if it works. Okay, I will be use this one for multi-period data loading, that I have the import format, and I'm going to check the location. The location gold mappings, okay, and check with the data load rule. The HFM is fine. Now I'm going to create the data load rule for multi-period. Multi. So here now I am taking as multi-period. Here you can see the multi-period, continuous periods and non-continuous. That means if you are giving like Jan, Feb, March, that is continuous. If you are saying like one period is Jan, one period is December, that is non-continuous. Take it as continuous. I'm taking the import format, multi-period import format. And select your file where it is available. So target options, that is fine, mean like HFM applications options that you want to put it. Here custom options. So if you are taking like sequential order, that is fine, which period is executing starting. If it is non-continuous, then it will be, you will be having one more option, that is source periods. So which period is source, that is Jan or February or whatever the functions that you are having, you can give the periods over there. If you are not using the non-continuous, then directly you can give the start period and end period over there. So simply give it and save this one. Let me create one more period here, sequential period that I need to create. Period mappings here, August, September, October is there, right? Let me go with application settings. October is there. Let me add August and September. Okay, I have the sequential order. Just I'm going back to the data load rule, and here we are having BHFM multi for actual. So multi-period is there and multi-period continuous is there. Just I am going to executing here. So then here you need to check which period is starting period, August, and which period is September, August, September, October, right? So import from source, export to target. Run. So if you can see, the import is data from multiple periods at a time, that it is taking August, September, October, right? So it will be loading the data from all of them into a once instance, right? It is taking all of them and transform the data and loading the data into for multiple periods at a time. So if you want to check the data, then go back to BHFM, and this is October, that is fine. And if you want to check the August data, just a moment, it has to be taken input from source, transform the data into August. Okay, this is two periods that it has taken, September, August, September. Transform the data into September. Data load rule is BHFM multi. So you can check that one. So by changing the rule only, you can find the information. Rule name is different and different, right? If you are having, if you are checking with the different rule name, you will not get the information. This is system defined, auto generated. This is customized for single period. This is customized for multi period. If you can change that one, then only you can able to see the data. Otherwise, you will not be see the data at that time. So this is August that is loaded. September it has been loaded. And October is also will be loaded like this. At the time that you are able to load the data for multiple periods. So this is the way that you can manage the multi-period data loading. So at the same time for open batch, if you go for the open batch, what we discussed in previous, there itself also you need to put the open batch here, open batch multi-period over here, and the same import format that you need to use for that loading, and you need to maintain the let me go back here. In the batches also you need to give the data like that. You need to give the multiple period data loading. So you can use the same uh, import format for this also for that location, and you need to give the multi-period locations. So multi-period target application is BHFM, and the file separator is this. Auto create data load rule, parameters, input from source. So then you can use the same periods and everything that you can use for multi-period. So this is the way that you can also use the same setup and you can manage the data load rules for this also. Okay. So this is the way that you can manage the batches within the batches and nested batches and everything that you can manage. And you need to remember only for multi-period is import format. When you create the multi-period, then you need to use your column from which period to which period that you are to load the data 4, 5, 6. This is one. And while creating the data load rule also, you need to remember like it is continuous and non-continuous. If it is continuous, directly when you are executing the data load rule, from you need to give the start period and end period from there itself. If you want to give start period and end period from one date. If it is the non-continuous, then it will be giving one more option, source options. Then you need to tell this is the source, mean like uh, the file is giving the data. The file is giving the data. This is for April, this is for June, this is for December. So you need to give that information from the source options. Okay. This is the point that you need to remember. And normally we will be using the multi-period data loading for budget or forecast scenarios. Mean scenario will be different. You can load the data for budget and forecast scenarios. And the next week that we will be seeing of HFM business rules at the end of the session, last session of HFM business rules. And also we will be seeing the logic groups, check rule groups, and this query definition, and we can see the scripts. So these two things and HFM rules will be having the last session by next week. Okay. Next week is we'll have like last